Greetings and salutations, everyone. My name is Featherhoof.
And this is Carnage Panda.
And we're back for week 10 of Anime Talk, Winter 2019.
Good job, man.
Yes, that's what I live for. I worked so hard all these seasons to get this kind of recognition.
Okay.
So I can just stop.
Okay, show's over, everybody.
Bye. Anyway, interesting week this week. It definitely played hell with our rankings. That's for fucking sure.
Yeah, it, sort of played hell.
It played hell with our upper echelon.
I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, I am too. Actually, you were looking at me right now. I'm looking at the list.
Well, I can see it off the reflection of your head.
Well, I'm surprised you can. I mean, because we got lights here. That usually should be blinding you.
Yeah, it does, but...
Yeah, I can make fun of myself more than you can make fun of me. Ha!
Okay, you got me there.
Yeah. Ugh, I win at making fun of myself.
Bow down and...
The power to make fun of oneself lies with me. And what also lies with me is getting started on this here episode of Anime Talk. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and with that weird randomness just out of the way, we're going to go ahead and jump right on in. And this week we have ourselves an Elsewhere in Anime. What did you see today?
Today?
This couple of weeks.
Yeah, I'm a notorious binge watcher. I watched how many episodes? 50 in just one day. I was just like, no, this is good. But
no. I knew it.
Well, in contrast to another show, yeah. I actually like this one.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did your hand glow with an awesome power?
Yes, it did. This hand glows with an awesome power. Its burning grip tells me to defeat you. And that is the line that is most spammed in G Gundam. And it is awesome.
Yes, it is. I mean, G Gundam is one of the most animes ever.
Yeah, it's the most anime to ever animate.
I mean, if there was an anime that animed, it animed. Because,
yeah.
It shouldn't work. It should be just so cheesy that it's stupid, but for some reason, something about it is so fucking awesome.
Yeah, in most other contexts, I would feel that a show like this would just be so cheesy and so cliche, and I'd be like, well, I feel like I'm wasting my time. But somehow I was just like, yeah!
I mean, it's just... Oh my god. I mean, it's not that the show isn't without fault, though. There is, like, a whole third of the show, like, in the middle, which is just, like, completely useless.
I was, like, kind of bored during that, but...
And, like,
then it picks back up again.
And by today's standard is kind of a little racist.
Kind of?
I mean, we got, what was it, Tequila Gundam to represent Neo-Mexico?
Yeah, the Tequila Gundam representing Neo-Mexico. Every nation in this show has the prefix Neo before it.
And then they made, for some reason, each nation, each Neo-nation went, what is the most stereotype of stereotypes for our nation? And then we'll use that to build a Gundam based around it. We got Lumberjack Gundam for Neo-Canada.
Yeah.
Zeus Gundam for Neo-Greece.
Yeah, and this is a departure from most of the Gundams that came before it. Well, it's a departure from all of the Gundams that came before it.
And after it.
Because
it's isolated in its own universe.
Because the ones that came before it were all war dramas.
Yes.
With an anti-war message.
Yes.
And this is just, you got a bunch of guys and let's have a martial arts tournament and have them beat the shit out of each other.
Well, if I remember correctly, I mean, it's been years since I've seen G Gundam. There was a reason to the tournament? It was something like, almost like,
yeah.
Like the winner gets something out of it for their nation.
Yeah, so every 4 years, they hold this Gundam tournament, and the winner of the tournament, that nation gets to rule the universe for the next 4 years. And
it was almost like, what was the name of that, God, a stupid movie series that came out with the kids killing each other.
I don't know what you're talking about, but okay. You talking about like the Hunger Games?
Yes, thank you. Hunger Games.
Okay.
It's like fucking Hunger Games, but with Gundams.
Well, I only watched the first movie out of that.
Yeah, same here, but...
But the reason that they get to rule for the next 4 years is that this tournament has replaced all wars, and supposedly this makes humankind more peaceful.
But there's actually an even darker secret reason for the tournament that involves something. Well, in America they called it the Dark Gundam because that softens it a little bit. It's not as bad. It's just dark.
Yeah, it came out during that era of when everybody wanted to be PC and was too afraid to offend religious people.
Like when Xenosaga came out on the PS2 and got ported to America, and they took the cross off of Junior's shirt.
We don't talk about Xenosaga 2.
I do.
But yeah, it's the Dark Gundam. It's actually the Devil Gundam.
Yes. And what's the antithesis that Domon Kashu gets to ride in?
The Shining Gundam.
That eventually becomes...
As he gets halfway through the series, which happens in most Gundams, they upgrade them because they have to sell more toys.
So, if we're fighting the Devil Gundam, what do we use to fight it?
We fight with the Neo Shining... No, the God Gundam.
Yes, the God Gundam. Or, in America, his first Gundam's called the Burning Gundam, and it's upgraded to the Shining Gundam.
Which makes no sense, because his final attack in the Shining Gundam is the Shining Sword, and then the final attack in the God Gundam is the Burning Finger.
Yes. And then in America, his attack with the Burning Gundam is the Shining Finger, and then his attack with the Shining Gundam is the Burning Finger. So it's like erupting Burning Finger.
It's one of those interesting things about American censorship.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had a good time except for that middle part. You know,
yes.
They go back to actually doing a tournament fight, and it's probably one of the worst tournament arcs I've ever watched.
Of the Royal Flush, who was your favorite Gundam? Excluding Domon.
It would have to be the guy from Neo America.
Yes! Yes!
Just based on his name alone.
Which is?
Chimode Crockett.
Yes!
Now, I'm not going to say that I have never met... Well, I've never met a guy named Chimode. And I'm not going to say that there's no person in America named Chimode. But it seems like a really weird name for an American to have. Why did they choose something like Jim or Bruce? Or
I mean, I'll agree with you. He is the best of the Royal Flush aside from Domon, simply because his Gundam is the most stereotype of bullshit. I love it. Like, the other ones were kind of cool. There's Rose Gundam and Bolt Gundam and what was China's?
Dragon Gundam.
Dragon Gundam. They're kind of cool. America, ours plays football. And then when it's done playing football, it goes into boxing. Yeah!
What do I even say about that?
I love it. And he's got a harem.
Yeah, he's got a harem of like
cheerleaders.
4 or 5 girls. And they dress up in swimsuits and stuff. But I did watch the Japanese version.
Yes.
Because the audio... And one of the things that always cracks me up is when they start speaking in English. And because Chimode Crockett is American,
that pure-blooded American Chimode,
they throw in English words for this Japanese guy to say. And since Japanese guys never say it correctly,
oh no!
It's always comical to hear their English,
which is
like. He's always screaming out, "God damn!"
I've never heard the Japanese. I've only ever heard it in English.
And then they'll say stuff like, "Holy shit!"
He JoJo's it.
Yes.
Oh my god. Oh my fucking god! I love it.
And I'm sure there was an "Oh my god" in there somewhere.
Yes. I have to say, other than that, Schwartz. I dug Schwartz.
Yes. I'm gonna have to go back and research on German ninjas because I'm absolutely confused about the concept of a German ninja. I'm not even kidding. He is a fucking German guy that...
He wasn't really
Spoiler
a
alert.
German
No,
guy.
no, spoilers. He's a German guy that is a ninja.
Well, when spoilers happen, it could be.
I don't want to ruin it.
I think
you've already ruined it. So he's not German,
yeah.
but
what cracks me up about his ultimate move is when he fucking Beyblades people.
Yeah, he starts spinning around
and bouncing off the walls. He literally Schwartz's. I can't remember the name of his Gundam off the top of my head.
The Gundam Spiegel.
Spiegel. Thank you. And it literally turns into a top and Beyblades their enemy to death.
Which reminds me, I meant to look up what Spiegel meant, and I never did it. So...
Then you are useless.
So, do you know?
Me? Fuck no. I don't know German.
Okay, comment below if you know German and what that means. Does it mean top, spinny, blah, blah, blah? Because, yeah.
Now, for me, one of the reasons I loved the show, because I watched it in American.
You watched it in American?
Yeah, I did. It wasn't just English, it was American. The voice actor, Domon Kashu, really got into his character.
Yeah, you did show me some clips, and I think he overdid it at points. But
this obviously points to evidence of that this enemy's been given regenerative powers from the Dark Gundam, which means he's in league with Kyoji!
Yeah, the whole premise is that
this hand of mine burns with an awesome power!
The whole premise of the show is that outside of this martial arts tournament, Domo's brother Kyoji escaped with the Devil Gundam and killed his mother and father.
He Itachi'd.
Yeah, he Itachi before Itachiing was cool.
And Domon, I think he was specifically chosen for his role because he's he has crazy anger management issues.
Yeah, yeah. He really was to get Kyoji back for all this shit.
Yeah. And it's his crazy emotions gives the Gundam all this extra power and shit, his super mode and whatnot.
Yeah. That's because that's how the Gundam works. The Shining Gundam, at least. Now, there's only...
Well, the first Gundam.
Now, besides the obvious tournament arc that I did not like...
Right.
This does happen during the tournament arc, which got me really confused. This is my only other point of contention with this show.
Okay.
Was the guy from Neo-Russia, Argo Golsky.
Yes.
He has a rivalry of sorts with the Canadian guy.
Sure, we'll go with that. That's ongoing rivalry between Canada and Russia. Got it.
So the guy from Canada wants to kill him for insert spoiler here. And they resolved this early on in the show, and then they repeat it in the tournament arc. And I was like, didn't they do this back then?
Yeah, it's it didn't make any sense. I agree. Yeah. But to finish this off, just because we need to move on, G Gundam, grade it. What would you say?
I gave it an 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10? That's a good score. I give it an 8.5 out of 10 personally. Simply because, when you can defeat the final evil by throwing an old man at them, I'm sorry, that's awesome.
That final battle is top notch.
Absolutely.
And
full of love.
I have to say that the show had to have been a great influence on one of my favorite video games.
Yeah?
Because I was totally seeing everything in it.
What was that?
Xenogears.
Yes, actually, I never put that together until you actually told me. I can see a lot of influence in Xenogears. Holy shit!
Because we watched a video on that, and one of the guys said, yeah, he was just putting a bunch of Gundam figures on his desk. So as soon as I watched this show, I was like, man, the
designs too. Huh.
Yeah. So
wow. Okay, now you blew my mind. Holy shit. So with that was Elsewhere in Anime, and we highly recommend, if you haven't watched G Gundam, go find it. But Other than that, we have a list to get to, so let's move right along. Coming at number 5 this week, unsurprisingly, is Magical Girl Spec Ops Asuka. I mean, I'll give this episode credit. They at least didn't fight any still frames.
They fought a bunch of still frames.
No, they fought a bunch of stock footage. But they didn't fight any still frames this time.
You're not giving the show any praise here.
Hey, at least the stock footage moved.
I have my expectations set low for this show now.
I kind of do also. It's, So, we picked right up from last episode, the assault is ongoing. And good guys are kind of winning. You know, they're not doing bad. And, it, like, goes through a bunch of soldiers talking about, like, the magical girls. And, like, some are like, oh, they're monsters just like the Dices army. And some are all like, oh, thank God the magical girls are here. And, you know, I don't know,
I feel like this could have been better.
Yeah.
It's just... Light & Films... H-Team is working on this now, and it's just so disappointing.
I'm wondering if what we're disappointed in, a lot of story stuff where it's just not clicking for us, is whether the way the story is told was told this way in the manga.
See, I almost feel like I should just be reading the manga because of how little animation and effort they're putting into it.
There is this show, it almost can work as a modern example of bad anime. Like, you know how people are like, oh, anime, they just stand there and people just point out Speed Racer where they'd stand there and like just their lips would move and then it would have like 5 minutes of dialogue.
Well, I don't fault them for that, because when I'm watching like an American cartoon and they're just moving around and talking all like, I'm like, why are they moving around so much? You don't nobody does that.
Granted, but I mean, they don't gesticulate or anything. They're sort of very, very stiff.
It's very true, because there is a scene in the beginning which they reuse as stock footage
a couple of times,
where they're talking about their grand plan in the master command room, and like it's just a still frame, like, and they pan up from the bottom to the top.
Oh, there's like the general guys just standing there all talking in the war room.
Yeah. And one of these guys is like doing desk work at the computer, and he's just standing there. There's like.
Oh yeah, the one where it's just the room of people at computers, and it's just panning across all the people at computers who are typing apparently so fast we can't see it. It's very, very. It's like, I think the investors of the show have pulled out because apparently they have no money for an animation budget.
And that's sad. This is the kind of show that needs animation because it's supposed to be an action show.
There are a couple of original combat scenes in this episode. When Mia is fighting some Dice, Halloween classes, and when God, what is the name of the Russian chick? Tamara. When she flames a bunch of flying ones. Mm-hmm. There's a couple of sweeping shots in that.
Yeah,
but then every time it shows whatever the military is firing at, it's the same stock footage of the exact same Dice's demons who are holding up the same exact shields in front of them.
Did you notice when they did the Dice's monsters did their formation to teleport in new monsters?
Yes, I know where you're going.
That they just put the same monsters in rows behind them.
They copy and pasted rows upon row of the exact same row over and over again, of like 4 or 5 different Diceless monsters. It was so cheap. It was so bad and obvious.
See, I'm not going to cut them. I'm not going to give them a lot of flack for using still frames during scenes where characters are supposed to be talking.
Granted,
and there's dialogue.
I'll give you that.
But the fact that there's
I mean, if you were... But still, no, I'm going to give a little flack, because if you were in, because at some point they do start to lose. And even the child soldier, I can't remember his name, the one who's in the big metal suit now. Even when he's like, he says like, well, it's kind of funny. They think they can win, but that's the fun part, you know. You got to give them hope so that the despair will set in that much more. And then, of course, at that point, they start losing, and you know, nobody's freaking out. Nobody's going, "Oh crap, we need to do the things." Everyone's still very stoic, not moving much at all. It's like nobody's showing any emotion or, you know, acknowledging that they're getting their asses beat.
Yeah, I have, like, zero hope for this show anymore because it's kind of crashing and burning at the end. Like, there was a lot more animation during the beginning of the show.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
and it slowly creeped to, like, we're not doing anything now.
The show started so good. It was so fun to watch.
Do you remember when Asuka de-led Kim Camp?
Yeah.
There is actual animation in that. If it was done in...
And when she like, dismembered his his men, too, I mean, it was fucking awesome.
If that was done in the current episodes, it would just be a still frame.
Yeah, she'd already done it, and he's like falling over, and it's all still framed.
And the little blood stuff that was like moving in there, it would just been still.
Yeah.
No animation.
So... I think the only thing that saves this episode, I think there is a small saving grace to it, is that at the end, we do get some animation. We do get some fighting. Because the child soldier and, God, I think her name's Chisaka?
Chick.
I think her name's Chisaka. I'm going to go with that until I'm proven wrong. Until you guys correct me in the comments. They actually get in. And they have to fight Rapture and, fight Rapture and War Nurse. Chisaka goes up against War Nurse and creates an arena for them to fight that no one can get in and they can't get out. Well, they're about to fight, and they use the Cenobite class monsters to keep Rapture in check, because apparently her abilities suck against them for some reason. Never really said why, but...
I don't understand why she sucks, they just state that she does.
Yeah. And, I love that, General Tabara's, wolf minion, tiny little, chibi wolf minion turns into fucking John Talbane from Darkstalkers. And, with this huge-ass sword. And there was some, there was some animation there. And there was a neat little 3-second fight that didn't end well for John Talbane.
Well, it doesn't end well for all. I think he got, decapitated.
I think, the way the child soldier murdered Chisaka's dad, I'm pretty sure he murdered Wolfman the same way.
Yeah, I don't think that the Wolfman's getting ahead in life.
Anyway, and then it shows him, coming up... it turns out they weren't actually after General Tabara at all. They were after the suitcase.
Now, I want to comment because Kurumi strikes me as the kind of person that would be a masochist.
Yeah. So we got a masochist...
thinking that this battle is just going to go... And they're just going to be spamming the Grey Wolf versus Solid Snake battle in Metal Gear Solid 1.
Hurt me more!
Yeah, he's like, hurt me more! More!
Because we're set up for a masochist versus a dominatrix fight here. Oh boy. I'm going to predict some fan service in the near future.
I haven't read the manga any farther, but...
General Tabara got fucked up. Child Soldier, apparently, we didn't get to see it, but all we saw was the aftermath, and he's got her head underfoot inside concrete.
Yeah, our muscle mage is doing some work.
Mm-hmm.
And
we've set up for 2 fights. We got Rapture versus Child Soldier, and War Nurse versus Chisaka.
Whatever her name is. Now, the only other thing I liked about this episode is the little fairy kid.
Oh, Shigusu? Oh, fuck.
Whatever his name was. The shot of him getting really ready
with the gun
to fight them, where he's just got bug eyes, and he's like, I'm ready for some murder.
Yeah, he speaks about himself in the third person. He's like, Shensu is ready to kill, Chu.
And then when he throws out the magical frag grenade.
Yes, the magical M37 frag grenade. where the fuck designation was, and whatever.
Well, there's one more prediction I'm gonna make about this show.
Please, I know where you're going. Please, go. I'm totally on board with this prediction.
In the opening, they show another magical girl.
And the ending, too.
And the ending. And we have not seen hide nor hair of her.
She's been mentioned one time in the anime. I think, like, we've seen her in the flashbacks with, like, 0 lines. But, she has not existed in the present at all.
And we have maybe like 2 or 3 episodes left, unless this is going into next season. But I just assume that this is going to end in like 2 or 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm predicting that she's not even going to show up at all in these next 2 episodes.
I'm on board with that prediction, but I also have an alternative prediction. She's going to be the fucking Deus Ex Machina, shows up out of nowhere for no reason, and saves the fucking day.
Yeah, these are the only 2 scenarios I see happening.
Yep. Absolutely. That's the only way. Because it's like, they're in the middle of a thing. They can't just like, oh, let's go create the story for her to show up.
This does feel like it's going to be the season finale. They're having this big battle at the end, and either she's going to show up and give the proper reinforcements at the end.
Yeah.
In like the last 1 or 2 episodes, or she's not going to show up at all.
I don't know. It's stupid. I'm to be perfectly honest, I think we've given this episode this week far more attention than it deserved. It was...
Yeah, I think... I don't have any more to say about it.
I honestly don't either. It's a shame. I mean, we're probably going to repeat this when we get to the season finale, but it's a shame. It started off so good. Where this show lost me is the erasing PTSD. From that point forward, not only did the story piss me off, because let's just erase PTSD, but then it was like, from that point, you can mark it to that point, that's when the animation got cheaper. Right there. From that point forward, when they started a new story arc after that, it was just like, everything got cheaper and weaker.
I mean, if this kind of thing is your thing, just go read the manga.
Agreed. I mean, the fact that there's no animation in the manga, not a detriment, because there isn't any in the show either.
And usually the manga has better artwork.
Yeah. So with that, Asuka comes in at number 5 again, and we're just going to move right along.
Kaguya-sama, war is love.
No, it's not.
It's not?
No, love is war, you jackass.
We've got the whole rest of the season to do this, too.
I know.
Yeah, this episode was kind of weaker, too. It feels like they're doing an actual serious plot line now.
Yeah. Hey, keeping a plot thread going through the whole episode through 3 different vignettes didn't work. Let's have it continue through a whole nother episode and 3 more vignettes. That'll work, right? 1 story through 6 vignettes? Obviously, that will play out really well, because it didn't really work out well for us in 3 vignettes. Obviously, it'll work better across 6.
The show started off as a comedy.
Yeah.
And now it's kind of becoming a drama.
Well, there's still comedy there. It's just not as funny.
You're absolutely correct. I cannot dispute this.
I mean, it's still making me giggle, but I'm not laughing like I was in the beginning of the season. And I think it's because we're getting closer to the point where there was a point to the show, and the point was those 2 both wanting the other's affection, but not asking for it. Not being the one who gives the affection, or who initiates the relationship. So we're eventually going to get to that point where they're going to, initiate the relationship. I don't know if they're going to finish it with 1 season, or if they're going to go the whole length of the manga. But you told me the manga was really long. It's been going on for a while now, right?
I think at the beginning of this season it was at chapter 120 or something.
Yeah.
And I have not looked up where it is.
Okay. So I don't know. Maybe they're only expecting it to go 1 season, so maybe they're trying to get it to its conclusion.
Maybe.
What did we have this week? What vignettes did we have to go through?
We had to go through the continuation of them arguing over sleeping with each other.
I kind of dug the titles. First title was Kaguya won't forgive. And then the second title was Kaguya wants to forgive. And I can't remember what the third one was, though, but...
Well, the first one, they're arguing over a piece of cake.
This was kind of fun. I actually did enjoy this one a little bit.
I didn't enjoy this one at all.
Oh, this is one I did enjoy.
I mean, the other ones I enjoyed.
Because... So what was the premise of this first vignette?
They're arguing over cake.
Well, they want the other one to eat the cake. No, you eat the cake! No, you eat the cake!
Yeah, the headmaster of their school gave them some cake, but he only gave them 2 pieces.
2 pieces for an office of 4 people.
Yeah, so Ishigami ate one of the pieces, starts minding his own business, and then Kaguya and Shirogane start arguing with each other over, you better eat this piece of cake. No, you better eat this piece of cake.
And apparently from the time lapse, it goes for an hour, like over an hour. And Ishigami, I don't know, because it kept going back to showing Ishigami as time went on. It's like 2 minutes after the beginning of the confrontation. He's like, no. 5 minutes. It's like, okay, that was a good piece of cake. There's 20 minutes. He's like looking awkward, like, when you're at a best friend's house and their parents start arguing, that kind of look. It's like an hour later, and he's like, this is all my fault. I should not have eaten that cake. Why did I eat that cake? This is all my fault.
Yeah, he just decides, this is my fault. If I would not have eaten that piece of cake, they both would have gotten cake and they wouldn't be arguing. So I need to go find Chica to break this up and solve it.
And, I mean, I find it funny because at the end, like, they're like, it's like, he's like, okay, fine. You eat, she's like, you eat the cake first and then I'll eat a piece. He's like, no, you eat a piece first and then I'll eat a piece. Like, no, that's stupid. How about we eat the pieces at the same time? Okay, we'll feed each other a piece at the same time. And they're literally going to do
that. Yeah, they had come to an agreement on it.
And Chica comes in right there with the bat symbol. It was like the Chica symbol. Like, and she just steals the cake. He's like, friendship police!
That is one of the strongest parts of this show, is just these weird and wacky things that they do.
I know.
Mostly with Chica.
I know. Chica's like... She is like, in the first episode, she has that X factor. She has the chaos theory. And she basically just steals the cake. It's like, if you guys get along, neither of you can have the cake. It is mine. And then eats it in front of them. The end.
The end. Let's go home.
Yep, okay. Wait, I am home.
Okay.
Alright, that was an easy trip. Jesus. So, second vignette, what do we get?
This one brings back a plot point from earlier episodes.
It is, and this is my opinion, the weakest of the 3. So...
Yeah, they wanted to go on a field trip because summer break is coming.
No, this is the Love Advice one.
Oh.
Yeah, okay. You skipped ahead.
Well, let's just skip ahead then.
No, we're going to go to order. This is the Love Advice.
With the Love Advice, I actually liked this one.
I didn't like it.
Because Ishigami was cracking me up.
Okay, Ishigami was the best part of this. You ever have that friend who's like really passionate about a thing, and once you get them to start talking about it, they can't shut the fuck up? That's Ishigami.
Yeah, so both Kaguya and Shirogane go talk to friends or another person about their relationship woes, but they're asking for a friend.
For a friend. And so Kaguya talks to the chick who came to her before for relationship advice, who, even though Kaguya goes, I'm asking for a friend, the chick clearly, like, she does an inner monologue with her, and she goes, I know it's for Kaguya.
Can't trick me. But Ishigami, I think, gets fooled.
He completely gets fooled because he just goes off on his own tangents.
Yeah, Ishigami's the kind of guy who just does not know how to keep his mouth shut.
No.
Which has been established in previous episodes. When he's been talking about, like, the bust size of Chica and, what's
Kaguya?
Kaguya.
He made fun... Mark the time! He made fun of me the very first episode because I couldn't remember Kaguya's name. Episode 10, I get my revenge.
That was illuminating.
Thank you.
Anyway.
So continue.
I've lost my train of thought.
Ishigami, he's the kind of guy who won't shut the fuck
Yeah,
up.
he won't shut the fuck up because, you know, he just says whatever comes to his mind. He's giving advice to Shirogane about his woes for his friend.
And Ishigami, he's the self-proclaimed master on relationships because he reads a lot of rom-com manga.
This makes him an expert.
Yep. You know, it makes me an expert on saving the world because I play a lot of RPGs.
Yeah, and the world's in peril in a lot of them.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. So I know exactly how to save the world. I'm a master at it.
Don't know how many times?
Oh, thousands at this point.
Probably.
Yeah, but anyway.
Yeah, and every time that Ishigami is talking, he's being, like, super boisterous, loud, and obnoxious. Yeah. And he's, like, throwing shade at Kaguya the whole time.
Yep.
He's like, what the fuck is wrong with her?
Well, yeah, he doesn't even know it's Kaguya, because I'm pretty sure he even offers to go yell at her. He's like, you tell me who it is, I'll go tell her what's what.
I almost wanted that to happen.
So did I.
Because
I wanted
the way
to,
he just shrinks back every time he has any contact with Kaguya.
I think the part that kind of cracked me up about this is they were basically both asking someone else about the in-bed situation. They were both honest about it. And both perspectives, Ishigami and the chick whose name I can't remember, they are both very biased on their gender side. Like, you know, the chick who's talking with Kaguya, she's like, oh, obviously it was the man's fault, those fucking men. Oh, evil men. Ishigami is all like, oh, obviously it was the woman's fault, those fucking women.
What's wrong with her?
Women, oh.
That is an accurate representation of the dialogue that went on.
Pretty much. It was like, you know, because they're trying to, both of them want to move past what happened. And even though they formally apologized to each other and they both outwardly, you know, accept each other's apology, inside, what was it, like, Kaguya is actually mad, A, because it's happened, but also mad because nothing did happen. She's mad that something didn't happen, but then she's also mad that it didn't, or, you know what I mean. She's mad that it did and didn't happen.
Yeah, that's a typical response.
And Shirogane is mad because she's mad at him, even though he was the innocent one in the situation.
But by the end, they're convinced to move beyond it.
Well, what's funny is, by the end, they take the advice of neither Ishigami or the other chick. They're just walking through the hallway, and they stop, and Shirogane actually proclaims, even though I don't remember them showing this.
Yeah, I don't remember him
he goes,
doing what he said he did.
Yeah, he says, I need to apologize. I actually did lay a finger on you. A single finger, that's all. And he's like, I did touch you. And she goes, where did you touch? I just did my finger, I put it on your lips. That's all I did. And she goes, and he's like babbling an apology, and then she comes up and just puts her finger to his lips. And he goes, there. And now we're even. And she walks away all cool as you please. And then when they're out of sight of each other, they both sort of have like an internal gasm. She's all like,
he's like, oh, okay.
Holy shit, she touched my lips.
She's not mad at me.
Oh my god. Oh. And then she's in the stairwell by herself, and she's all like,
this is the happiest day of my life.
He touched me in a sexual way. Whee! Because, you know, touching a woman on her lips is a sexual thing, apparently. But, and then the skit sort of ends. I don't know, for me, it was kind of the weakest skit. It was just sort of like, okay, we need to bring this thing to a conclusion, somehow. And it just sort of wrapped it up quickly and threw it away.
Well, I don't think any of them were super strong.
I'd still say this is the weakest vignette. Personally, I mean, you say the first one was the weakest, but... Or it was the third one you said was the weakest.
Well, I didn't like the first and third ones.
I like the first and third ones.
Now, the third one was just them arguing about, we're going on a vacation, we're taking a trip.
Why I like the third one is because it went back to the randomness. Like, because it was just Chica... this was a very Chica-heavy vignette.
Yeah,
like,
it was just Chica doing Chica things.
Yeah. And they were like, remember a few episodes back when they were trying to decide where to go on vacation? And they never really came to a conclusion on that? Well, they're trying to come to a conclusion because the school year's almost over. So, it turns out Chica's not even going to be there. She's going to be on a trip to Hawaii.
Yeah, she's going outside of Japan because reasons.
So, it's kind of funny because Shirogane is trying to manipulate Chika so that she would come up with the idea for them to all go on a group vacation together. You know, somewhere like a festival or whatever. And he can't manipulate the situation because she's so random.
And Kaguya's like, well, I know she's random, so
I will follow my backup plan of doing nothing. And then she keeps like internally chastising Shirogane. She's like, stop trying to control her, it's impossible.
It's not gonna work. Yeah, so where is Chika getting all this money to go down to Hawaii and Spain and...
Oh yeah, because yes, she's going to Spain also. And at some point he's like, okay, well maybe I don't need Chika. I'll, hey, Ishigami?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ishigami. We'll have a bros day. We'll go to the festival at the end of August, you know, just have a bros day out. And then she's like, oh, I want to go. They'll have fireworks there. And then Kaguya's restraint breaks, and she goes back from nothing to just jumping in like, yes, fireworks with Shirogane, perfect, I'm in. And they're all like, oh, okay, oh, sweet, we'll do the vacation. Then Chica's like, oh, but crap, I'm gonna be in Spain for the Tomato Festival or some shit.
I have never heard of the Tomato Festival.
Me either, but I actually kind of dug this because Chica's in the wrong in this situation. She's all pissed. But you all can't go to the festival if I'm in Spain and not with you. He's like, and Ishigami, he just points out logically, wait, so you're asking us to not go out and have fun while you're out on vacation having fun? That's kind of unreasonable to ask us. And she gets all upset and like pissed off at him. And she runs out calling him a meanie and how awful he is. It's like, I did it again. No, I'll never gain her affection. I'm going home.
Ishigami did nothing wrong.
What's funny is Shirogane and Kaguya both like put their hands out to stop him from doing his little emo walkout thing. And like,
I'm so sad. Itachi killed my family. I'm gonna go kill myself.
And instead of doing the whole like joke that the running joke where like don't die, they both stop him and go, you did nothing wrong. You're actually in the right this time. And it just sort of ends there. I don't know. I thought the first and third ones were funny. They cracked me up.
The only things I liked about the third one is where Chika was doing her little dance in her mind. Because it's such an arrogant little, oh, I've got this and it's so fun.
She was trolling them a little bit. She was rubbing in their faces. I'm going to Hawaii. Going to Hawaii.
Yeah. But this was one of the weaker episodes of Kaguya.
It really was in general. Like, if you match it up against other episodes in the series, this is definitely, I would hazard to say, one of its absolute weakest. Not its weakest week. There was one that was really, really weak a few weeks back, but this one is definitely down there. But it seems he and I have different tastes on the vignettes in this episode specifically, though.
Speaking about taste, I need to know about the Tomato Festival.
I didn't know about that cake. That looked like a delicious cake.
Was it a steak cake or something?
It was a strawberry shortcake.
Okay.
That looked tasty. I wanted it. But other than that, any final episodes on this thought of Kaguya-sama?
Final episodes on this. Is this the final episode?
No, it's not.
I don't have any final thoughts on it.
Okay, well, that's all we have to say. Kaguya-sama
I feel like it's going into a weak finale, though.
It might. We'll see what happens, though. We'll see. For now, however, let's move right along into the next entry on our list. This week on the list, I never expected to see this here. Promised Neverland comes in at number 3 this time. Not its strongest outing. It's emotional. I will say it's very emotional. It still has a lot of the great animation that the show is known for. It has a lot of great shots, the shot composition drawn really well. We have the return of dramatic water.
Dramatic water does make its return.
But I would say about a third of this episode maybe more, is a montage of time passage. Where literally nothing visible happens other than Emma and Ray mope for about 2.5 months.
There's like almost nothing of the mind games that we've come to be used to in this episode.
This episode is literally presented as Isabella has won.
The 12-dimensional chess that we've been talking about this entire season is like almost absent.
Almost, but it seems that the ending is almost playing at that Emma has a card she hasn't played. She has a chess move she can still make and Isabella hasn't seen it. At least that's how she got the Grinch smile at the end. It was really weird.
What's she gonna do? Just like slam her fists on the chessboard and then flip the table over?
So this episode, Norman's being shipped out. And it's a very... Okay, at first, this is when I thought the episode was still good. It starts off just very fucking emotional. It's so... Oh my god, I felt so fucking terrified and sad. Like, what's gonna happen to Norman? What the fuck? No! I didn't want him to go almost as much as Emma didn't want him to go. Actually, I loved Emma's plan. Where during his outing, she was just gonna fucking tackle him and disable his ear tracker and force him to try and run away.
Yeah, she was about 2 centimeters from tasing him.
And he fucking like ninjas her off of him.
Well, the way the scene is composed is that for some reason he notices that she's gonna land on her broken leg, and he's like, I can't have that happen. So he kind of like tackles her with his ninja reflexes, which I guess he learned from German ninjas, and gets her to land it away and takes the taser away from her so that Isabel
doesn't see it. Yeah. And he gives her one last farewell, hands the taser back, and he goes quietly into the night. There was actually one of the best scenes of this is when they're walking together. It's so... There's no real music per se. It's just a lot of crunching grass as they're walking along each other. It's very quiet. It's very... so tense, even though nothing's happening. And they just start to talk.
Yeah.
And it's brilliant. She's like, she basically says, I knew you would never run away. I knew that you, of all of them, wouldn't have even tried. And, they talk about, living a happy life. He's like, so that, they'll live the rest of their lives happy. Like, absolutely. That's my word. They'll live happy lives until their days come. And he's like, so they'll be happy. Like, yeah, absolutely. But what about you? Are you happy? And for the first time ever, we see a break in her usually in control, stoic motherness. She for a second breaks and say, yes, I'm absolutely happy. But why would you ask such a thing?
My interpretation of this is that she's never been, on board with this, but the alternative
is death.
Is, getting fucking murdered by demons, and she would end up like Sister Crone, so she's just playing her role.
Yeah. However, so they get to the gate. He's about to get in the truck, where he saw Connie, and gonna prepare himself. And Isabel goes, No, Norman, wait. Come in here for a minute first. And she opens this door off to the side. And he walks inside with this look of like, what the fuck? I don't think he's dead.
There's no way he's dead. And
I mean, first off, there's the no body, no death.
Yes.
Secondly, he knows what the demons look like. He knows what they look like. That wasn't a thing of fear. That was a look of shock. Something made him go, wait, what?
Here's my prediction.
Okay.
Based solely on the way that Norman was dressed, she had taken him over there, and they are now on the set of Michael Jackson's Smooth Criminal. So...
Okay.
So that is where he is going right now. Take this what you will. He is going with Michael Jackson.
Actually, one of the things I missed this, and this was crazy. It was after Emma's attempted saving of Norman before he left. Isabella like kneels down to make sure that, for all pretenses, to make sure that Emma was okay.
Mm-hmm.
And she whispers to her, "You try something like that again, and I will kill you." It was just like, whoa, shit. So,
she's in such an unenviable position because it's obvious she doesn't like sending these kids off.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make her happy.
Yeah.
But like we've said, the alternative is, just get murdered.
Yeah. So she comes back and she visits Emma, who's crying in the infirmary. And she tries to comfort her, I guess. She basically, look, here's the thing. Look, you have all the qualifications to be a mom. You straighten up, you accept what this all is, and I can vouch for you to become a mother of this very ranch, where you can be a sister or even a full mom. You be cool, and it's all going to work out for you. And Emma just basically, very emotionally, flips her the finger. And she's like, well, fine. You just sit there and wallow in sadness and your grief and, think about it all you want. And walks out of the room.
I want to make another prediction.
Okay.
I think, now I could be totally wrong.
Okay.
But I think that the reason that Isabella is working with Grandma to bring the whole system down. And Sister Crone had to be dispatched because Grandma was like, she's going to ruin everything.
Sister Crone's plans sort of conflicted with their plans, and it would have ruined their plans. That would be an awesome twist. That would be pretty badass. Because at this point, there's no way out for these kids. Like, there's no way out.
I'm definitely going to read the manga after the season ends to
Same
see
here.
Same here. To see if I'm correct. But I feel like that's the way it would go. And I would love it if it went that way.
Mm-hmm. So after the exchange between Emma and Isabella in the infirmary, we basically then get, for the rest of the episode, a montage. It's like, hey, let's watch what happened really, really quickly across 2.5 months, up until the day before Ray's ship date. And it gets to the day before Ray's ship date. He's singing in the middle of the dining room for reasons. He says it's because he's saying goodbye to the house.
Mm-hmm.
And Emma's comes up to him, and Ray goes, because Ray, after Norman left, he gave up. He's like, I'm out. I can't do it. I'm out. And when Emma comes up to him, still on crutches, months later, I was kind of surprised. I thought legs healed faster than that, but she was still on crutches, 2.5 months later. And she goes up to him, and Ray goes, she goes, hey, Emma, you never gave up, did you? You never gave up trying to escape. And that's when she looks up, and she's got this, diabolical grin on her face. And then it just cuts to credits. Like, the way they drew her face in this scene is just like, oh my god! She looks evil! But I loved it. But it's just... I guess, it's the sense of hopelessness, the sense that they've lost. There's no back and forth. It's just Isabella's won. That's how it feels the whole episode. And then, like I said, there's just that third of it where it's nothing but a montage of time passage. It made it possibly the show's weakest episode.
Possibly.
Because we still have 2 or 3 more episodes to go. We'll see what happens. There could be weaker ones. Or 2 more, okay. But, I doubt it, because the show's been so good up until now. It's kind of a shit. Now, let me put it this way. Yes, it's third on our list. Does it make it crap, though? This episode was not crap.
No.
This episode was still, like I said, it was gut-wrenching. It was sad. It was just like, oh my god. It had this sense of hopelessness. And beautifully shot, beautifully drawn, beautifully animated. It's just...
Yeah, they put a lot more work in the animation, even during the scenes that there's dialogue, than Magical Girl Spektovska
does in combat.
Yeah, it's like, come on, man.
It's just, if I were to justify why it's this low, like I said, it's mainly boils down to that whole third of the episode where nothing happens. Nothing. It's just Ray and Emma being sad for 2.5 months.
And dramatic water.
Oh yeah, the dramatic water. Actually, I would give it points for dramatic water. Because that was... You know, the only time I've ever seen a faucet drawn better than that was in Iraduku.
Well, you can't compete with the drawings in Iraduku. So.
But yeah, that's final thoughts on this episode of Promised Neverland.
My final thoughts are... Phil fills me with despair and hopelessness.
Phil fills me with terror.
Fucking thing I've ever seen.
He really is. I kind of want to see... Because Norman, before he left, turned to Phil specifically and said, "Look, Phil, you need to take care of Emma while I'm, in my place. You need to take care of Emma." I was like, are they setting Phil up for a more central role here? If so, I kind of hope they do and hope they don't.
Phil is the wild card. He's the real Lovecraftian horror in this story.
Because he truly terrifies me. And he's like, you ever see those kids? Most kids, you look at him and you go, "Oh, look at the little kid." But sometimes you see a little kid and you go, "There's something about you that creeps me out."
That kid, he's going to grow up to be a serial killer.
Phil looks like he's going to grow up to be a serial killer. And he's terrifying. He's the kind of thing you see in your nightmares. But other than that, just I'm hoping for the ending of this episode really sets up like, ooh, I think there was actually...
What's that fucking line they say? Like, they're going to come back with the divas. Like, the divas are scary to these kids. Okay. But then they're going to be like, we tell stories of Phil to our kids to scare them to sleep at night.
Sure, we'll go with that. The ending of this episode definitely has me excited because it makes me think that there was some 45 degrees chess being, happening during the 2 months of emo sadness.
But we didn't get to see it.
No, that's what made me upset. But because it's just the way they said it. It made it sound like, okay, Emma was actually doing something, but we don't know what. I'll hopefully see what that was in the next episode. But until then, that was Promised Neverland. A bit of a departure from its awesomeness. But for now, we got episodes we enjoyed far more than that in our next entry.
This week on Dororo, we have a crossover with Final Fantasy 15 as a bromance forms.
What?
You didn't see the bromance?
No.
You didn't?
No?
Okay, this episode has to do with Daigo asshole son.
Tohamaru
or something?
Tohamaru, yes.
And his two friends, which one of them may or may not be a guy.
Yeah, the archer. Well, the one with the staff referred to as like, "We brothers are here to protect you."
Yeah.
But it sounds like the voice actor is a woman, and the character looks like a lady, so I don't know. I'm confused by that. But I think out of all the demons that they've had to face, this one had to be the weakest design. Is like, okay, what design haven't we used yet? Generic giant crab? Yes! Giant generic crab. Got it.
We don't even have to speak on this one. It does all of its work for just on its own. Giant enemy crab.
Yep. That's what it was. It was like the most cliche of demons ever.
And the giant enemy crab eats with its butt.
It's its back. It's not its butt.
That is its butt. That is the scariest looking butt I have ever seen.
Yeah, it actually is. It's got both incisors and fangs. It's kind of creepy. That's all it has. It has giant incisors in the cross formation, then has fangs in the diagonal formation.
Anyway, Tohamaru has put 2 and 2 together.
Yes, he has. Well, he kind of didn't just take. He didn't put two and two together. He had one of his retainers drug a guy that was in Daigo Asshole's employ and force him to tell him. That wasn't putting two to two together. That was being told.
That is putting two and two together. He drugged one of these guys, and he's like, "You gotta tell me, what is Daigo Asshole up to?" And he's like, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, "Oh, what the fuck?"
And he's like, he gave you a secret mission. Yes. And what was that secret mission? To find a baby and a housemaiden that went missing 16 years ago. Why? Then he tries to bite his own tongue off. Which apparently he failed at doing?
Now, I would have given the show more props because his one retainer goes over there and tells him, yeah, he bit his tongue. And he's like, is he going to be okay? Now, I would have given the show more credit if the retainer would have just pulled out a knife, stabbed the guy, but like, no.
But instead, he just goes, maybe the drugs made him too weak, but he tried to bite his own tongue off and failed. It's sort of like, okay. So he tries to confront Daigo Asshole. Why are you chasing a baby? He's like, you don't fucking need to know that. He's like, but I want to shut the fuck up. You don't need to know. And he's a little perturbed by this. Meanwhile, I like the opening where Yakimaru is fighting that like werewolf-looking demon.
The fucking werewolf, man.
Just he one-hit KOs him, but then the werewolf has to go down all dramatically.
Ah!
He like has to.
It was one of the funniest scenes I've seen.
It was. He had to like spray blood for about 2 minutes.
10 out of 10 scene.
Yep. So Tohamaru, he goes off with it, and his retainers follow him, and he's looking over his lands. He's like, Simba, everything the light touches is our kingdom. He's like, I fucking know it.
He's like, yeah, this is Daigo Asshole's domain, and it will be my domain one day.
And what's going on down there? And they go down, like, they go down there, and because some people have waylaid some samurai.
Yeah, they're like, you gotta help us, samurai, and this is a bad choice on the villagers' part because these are samurai. And, like, you could just tell that these samurai are like, let's just kill all of them.
Actually,
let's do it right now.
I know that's the joke we've been going for, but actually this episode, those samurai sort of looked like, what do we do? They didn't look like they were bloodthirsty.
I'm pretty sure because the one dude was like, get off me, don't touch me. But then Tohamaru shows up. And since he's the feudal lord's son,
right,
he has a lot of authority.
Right.
So he kind of like diffuses any situation that would have happened.
Okay.
And this made me respect Tohamaru more.
Yeah, I definitely do have respect for Tohamaru. He actually seems like he's a good dude.
Yeah, unlike, like, they usually say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, but
yeah,
it seems like he has a different set of morals from Daigo Asshole.
Well, here's the bit. Daigo Asshole, he made the initial thing because his lands were failing. They were in constant drought. He was in constant. His place was like full of plagues and droughts, and he couldn't, grow rice paddies or nothing because of, floods and everything. And praying to Buddha wasn't helping, so he chose another path to see if it would work.
Yeah, but then after that, he goes off and does what feudal lords do, which is go to war.
Right. So what's going to happen with Tohamaru? He's a virtuous guy, from what we can tell. But if he finds out that what he is doing is actually, by fighting the demon that he fought, is it going and learning that he actually fucked himself by doing that, his own land, his own people, is he going to go, oh, well, I'm also going to do this to help my people? Is he going to go along with it?
This is an interesting question, which I do not know the answer to yet.
So, the villagers ask him, help us, there's a thing in the water, Charybdis over there is eating people out there where we're trying to fish, we need help. And Tohamaru goes, I will save them!
Yeah, he has like a huge hero complex. Mm-hmm. He's like, I'm going to solve this problem. All of you samurai are going to help me.
Actually, that was an even more badass scene from him. He's like, hey, you don't want to help me? Fine. If you're pussies, you can leave. I won't stop you.
Well, he does have some balls.
Mm-hmm. Now, are they smart balls? But then again, balls, having balls doesn't necessarily mean you're smart. But
that's very true. You get a lot of people, a lot of guys that just go off and do super aggressive shit, then just totally get wrecked.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, I had balls.
Yeah.
Well, okay, you're dead.
Yeah. So he goes off to fight the giant enemy crab. And he's kind of smart about it, and he has like backup plans and everything.
Yeah, he did have a backup plan. He anchored the boats with ropes to the trees.
Yep. So
that when it summoned its whirlpool to suck everybody in, it did it because they were anchored.
And I love dumbest crab ever. I'm gonna call it Charybdis because they never really gave it a name. Mm-hmm. But Charybdis, it notices his plan isn't working. And then he's like, okay, the plan didn't work, so my solution is to keep going with the plan. He just sort of sits there, continuing to create a whirlpool, doing nothing.
Yeah, so they do get in a fight with it and cut off one of its legs.
Like one claw, like the whole claw.
But not before he ate one of the samurai.
Well, that was funny. The samurai goes to cut it, and his sword bounces off of it. And the crab then eats the guy. And then Tohamaru goes up, cut. It's like even the one retainer like tries shooting arrows at it, and they bounce off of its chitinous armor. And then Tohamaru's just able to cut through it like butter.
Zero problems.
And then the one retainer has the big club, like just breaks a hole in the chitin so that the other retainer can shoot arrows into it, and it runs away. It's like, it took one of my claws. Run away.
Well, it didn't run away before it put a hole in one of the boats.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
and
it actually tried to.
And he's like, you know what? We better just get out of here. Pull the boats onto the shore.
Yep. So he comes up with another plan. It's okay.
No,
we can't fight.
No.
Oh,
let's talk about the one dude's plan first.
Okay. Yes. So his one retainer has possibly the most effective plan.
It was a brilliant plan, and I loved it.
His plan was, please.
He's like, let's just strap dynamite to somebody and feed him to him.
No,
it'll blow him up.
No, he said we'll each wear explosives under our clothes.
Oh, and then Tohamaru's like, bro, that's gonna kill us. We're not gonna survive.
Oh, and then he goes, yes. Go ahead.
And then he's like, he says some really weird, stupid shit about their bonds of friendship. And he's like, because of this, we'll survive.
You're like, it is our job to protect you, so therefore, we're not allowed to die. So we won't.
Even if we strap dynamites to our chest.
Logic! Love it!
Well, so, the plan of strapping dynamite onto them is solid.
Yeah. I'm talking about the other part, the part where we won't die by being blown up. Because we're not allowed.
I probably would have gone with the plan. I would have used a sacrificial samurai and just thrown him into the crab and let it rain crab meat all over the place.
They'll have crab rangoon for days. Tasty crab
months
rangoon.
Even. Demon crab.
Yeah. But instead, he sort of sees something off in the distance, and he has this retainer lift him up so he can see. And he sees a little, what do you call it, like a bay?
Yeah.
So he gets all the villagers, and they dig out a second bay, and they put dams, like sluices between them, and he lures the giant enemy crab into one of them, and then empties the water. And it was like, oh, that was actually a brilliant idea.
I mean, it was another good idea, but it must have taken them an awful long time to dig all this stuff and set up the sluice gate, and I would have just gone with the dynamite.
So now they're fighting Charybdis outside the water. And it's going well for them. They're actually kicking its ass. And then the crab, Charybdis not being as stupid as you think, goes, well, you got yourself a wooden gate stopping the water. I'll just break your wooden gate.
Yeah, they did this because, the crab had the advantage in the water.
Mm-hmm.
And they want to say, Tohamaru's at least smart. He'll take an enemy's advantage away.
Yep.
So the crab's like, nah, I need my advantage. I can't beat you guys without it.
Yep.
And, because he's getting fucked up by Tohamaru and his gang.
Yep. Actually, I kind of find this funny. Tohamaru and his retainers are doing actual damage to it.
Yeah.
And then the villagers go, yeah, we'll throw rocks at it. Yeah, rocks. Ha ha ha! Fuck you, demon, with our rocks!
The giant enemy crab realized at this point that he was not popular with the villagers.
It was at this point he realized he fucked up.
He had definitely fucked up.
So he chucks boulders at... Because, there's just random boulders laying around, and he chucks a couple of boulders at the gate, and water starts flooding in. To which he takes complete advantage of that, and just stands there with his mouth open as people are being pushed at him.
And Tohamaru's like, we gotta get out of the water! Don't let the water get you!
And his one retainer, the one with the big club, he takes 3 guys in water with no foothold and chucks them 40 yards onto the dry land.
This guy has a hell of an arm.
And falls into Charybdis' mouth, where he's sitting there just trying to hold it open, but it's not working very well. He's about to get nommed, and Tohamaru goes, fuck that noise. He goes to attack it. Meanwhile, surprise attack, Hyakimaru comes out of nowhere. Literally out of nowhere. And slashes it from the other side. Like unwittingly, the 2 brothers actually attacked, did a dual attack on this demon. And, kill it. They split it right open.
Yeah, Hyakimaru was just waiting for them to soften this guy up. And then he was gonna steal the kill.
He did. He fucking he kill-stealed so hard.
He kill-stealed so hard. And Tohamaru was like, the fuck?
So the brothers lay eyes upon each other for the first time. And if Hyakimaru got a piece of his body back, we don't know what it was. The show neglected to tell us. Or show us. So that's pretty much where it ends.
Yeah. The only other thing is that Daigo asshole knows that Hyakimaru is around.
Oh, that's right. He goes to the gate of or there was a hall of hell.
Yeah, the hall of hell.
To say, okay, is it the child? Is it the child? And I guess they did. They like pulled out a giant demon magnifying glass and caused a little beam of light to come down that caused smoke to come up, and showed him images of what Hyakimaru looks like. And he goes,
they're like, this motherfucker's been killing us. We gotta stop him.
And he literally goes, I knew it. And so now he knows what Hyakimaru looks like. And it looks like Daigo Asshole is about to start a campaign against his own firstborn. Not that he has any affection for the boy, seeing as he was just like, as a baby, he was like, hey,
he has no affection for him.
Hey, midwife, take this and go kill it.
He sacrificed all of his body parts to get his domain as it is now.
Yep.
And told the midwife to go kill it. He's like, yeah, he doesn't care. All of his affection is into Tohamaru because he's his heir to the place. He didn't sacrifice.
The heir that still has all his body parts.
Yeah.
So, I really like this episode.
It's going to be interesting going forward.
Because I like the real introduction of Tohamaru. We've seen him a couple of times. Mm-hmm. But I like seeing him as this good guy. I'm interested to see how that's going to reflect in the future. Like I said, I wonder if he finds out the truth, and if he realizes if the demons die, then his land dies, what that's going to do to him. Is he going to still, go with what his dad's done? Or what's he going to do?
I'm wondering if there's going to be some dynamic, if he's going to conflict with his father and try to side with his brother, or if he's going to go with his father and try to kill his brother.
I don't know.
How all this stuff is going to play out.
Well, I'm just based on the opening credits In the opening credits, every time they show Tohamaru, he's got an eye missing. He's got a big old gash across one eye. He doesn't have that yet. So, I have a feeling that there's going to be conflicts between him and Hakimaru, where Hakimaru is going to go pluck an eye with his sword hands at some point.
Or maybe his dad did it to him.
Possibly. I don't know. Well, we'll see what happens. He's
like, you were asking too many questions.
So yeah, it's I love that the brothers finally saw one another. It was actually kind of cool seeing the brothers stand next to each other for the first time. It was really, really neat.
Yep.
So I want to see that taken further. Which hopefully we'll get to see that in the next episode. But until then, any final thoughts on this episode of Dororo?
I am completely pleased with Dororo.
The only thing I didn't like was generic giant enemy crab. It's like,
Well, they did a lot better than they did with a giant enemy crab in Onimusha.
Granted. But I just gotta say, like, out of all the interesting, inventive designs, some of them have been cliche, like Snake Woman, and Spider Lady. But, I mean, for the most part, they've had some really neat designs. The giant centipede, which is just... there's just been some really neat demons. And this one was just sort of like, giant enemy crab. Okay.
At least we don't have the expectations that Dororo is based on historical events.
Yeah?
And giant enemy crabs come out of the water in the battle of blah blah blah.
Hey, maybe we got Charybdis this episode. Maybe we'll get Scylla next episode.
Maybe.
But we'll find out next week. For now, however, we have one more entry to talk about this week. One that I really didn't think would ever hit the number 1 spot, but here we are, starting with our final entry. Coming in at number 1 this week is Rising of the Shield Hero. I was surprised by it. Were you surprised by this?
I was very surprised by it.
Probably because the only reason it's here is just because Neverland kind of screwed itself really hard this week.
Yeah, Neverland has been so strong the entire season.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't as good for 1 week.
Yes. Which gave Shield Hero the chance to be the number 1 this week. It's probably his only time, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, we'll be back next week. I promise Neverland was the best show ever.
I like this episode. Rising of the Shield Hero was a really nice episode this time. I mean, I felt so bad for Melty. She just looked like, what did I do to deserve this?
Yeah, Melty did nothing wrong.
She really didn't, but, fucking Naofumi. Again, I understand where he's coming from. Obviously, she doesn't, and even Philo doesn't understand it.
I feel like that everybody else was not on the same page with Naofumi. They were like...
Raftalia knows why he doesn't like royalty.
Yeah, I get the feeling... I know that Raftalia knows why.
Yeah.
But I don't think that she agreed with him.
No, she did not. She actually tried. I think she actually says it. She wasn't. It's like, dude, you were a little harsh, man.
It's like, okay, yeah, you got wronged, but you can't just push everybody away.
So he actually tries to go full dad. Whenever because like after Melty leaves, he turns to Philo and goes, I don't want to see you playing with her ever again.
We don't like those kids from that family.
And Philo says she's not happy with that, so she storms out.
But I like Melty. Melty's great.
She didn't.
I just want to put her between 2 slices of bread and put butter on both sides, and I'll have grilled Melty.
Butter's so good. I love butter.
As long as you're not using an entire stick.
Hey, if that's what it takes.
Okay.
But, well, Philo's out there, what would you call it, pouting, and Raftalia's chastising, Naofumi for, being a dick. Some people arrive at the armor shop. It's just to sort of become Naofumi's base of operations at this point. And, they all walk in, and they're like, hey, we're dudes from, what was it, Loot? What was the name of the village?
I don't think they were from the village. I think they're just people who were like, yeah, we saw what you did down there, and we approve, and we want to work with you.
To which he's a little skeptical, because that's what he does. That's sort of what that's part of Naofumi's thing, is to be skeptical. He goes, okay, look, if you really want... I don't know if he was doing it specifically to make sure that they had better gear, or if he did it because he was trying to get rid of them. He thought maybe he would be able to do it. He's like, okay, look, if you want to be, in my party, see this, this really old accessory of mine I don't need anymore? Like, yeah, we see it. Buy this from me for 150 silver. And all their faces drop, like, shit. Well, we don't have 150 silver. Well, I guess you better go find a way to get 150 silver. And then, fine, we'll do that. We'll be back.
Well, I think at first he was trying to put distance between them, and as the episode went on, everybody had convinced him to be a little bit more lenient.
Maybe.
Nicer to people, and to open up.
Maybe. So he gives some gear to blacksmith guy. Does he ever have a name? Did they ever give that guy a name? Or he just calls him Pops, I think.
I'm not sure they gave him a name. He is just buff armor dude.
Have you noticed that it's like, with all the fantasy style anime we watched in a while, Goblin Slayer, nobody had names, they just had titles. This one, with the exception of the heroes and their parties, no one really has names in the world.
It's very true.
So he gives him up his armor for repair and for upgrade, and he's talking about, like, oh man, we hit the level cap. We haven't, gained any levels in a while. He asks, like, what's the asterisk next to the level requirement mean? He goes, oh, it's time for you to get a Klasu upgrade.
Yeah, so apparently in this MMORPG, you can change classes into better classes.
Yes, even the blacksmith said, oh, I remember when I got my class upgrade. It's like,
when I was a wee little lad.
When I hit the level cap when I was younger. So he goes to the church. You remember the same church that all the nuns hate him and has all the spires except for shield? He goes there to get a class upgrade. They go, 15 gold each? With a snotty attitude. They're all like, oh, well, fuck, that's fucking expensive. Okay, Raptalia, you first. And they're all, here's your 15 gold. And they're like, oh, shit,
Yeah, they didn't expect him to pay up. They set the price arbitrarily high.
Yep.
It obviously does not cost 15 gold.
Yeah. So then the head nun comes out and goes, we have, it's like, oh, there's been a mistake. We have orders, a royal decree that we are not to help the shield hero with royal upgrade, or class upgrades. She whips out a royal scroll that has it written on there, I guess. There was some kind of writing on there that didn't translate it, but...
So I do find it interesting that the Pope does not have control of his own church.
That is weird.
And that the king can make these decrees.
Yeah, apparently there's no separation of church and state in this kingdom.
Well, even so, you would think that the Holy Church would be above the king, because they get their decrees from their god.
Yeah, you would think, but it seems it's the other way around in Melromark.
And like...
I mean, actually, was it just me? Or did you get the impression that the nuns were ready to jump him? Because, like...
They did not like him at all.
Because it showed, like, he, like, looked up and looked around, like, the balcony, and there's all these nuns. Like, it looked like a gang of nuns were ready to jump his ass.
I just don't understand this whole dynamic between the church and the king.
I don't know. So he takes his money back and leaves. And he goes to a slave trader. Which, yes, he's an awful person because he's a slave trader, but at the same time, he's sort of becoming my favorite character.
He's like, because of you, business is booming.
He's one of, out of every character in this world, with the exception of maybe Philo, he's the most honest human being on this planet.
That's very true. Like, we have the king, and he's just being a douchebag for douchebaggery's sake now. There's no real reason.
Possibly, like, even Melty, as innocent as she is, she's working for an agenda placed upon her by her mother. And, she hasn't said this.
We really get the first glimpses of in this episode.
No, we've seen her before, in the Chocobo Racing episode.
Barely seen her.
Yeah, I mean, this is true. This episode, she's had the most to say out of any episode. But, out of all the characters, like I said, even Melty, who's a nice little girl, obviously is working under an agenda placed upon her by her mother. Philo and Slave Trader are literally the most honest creatures in this universe. Philo's like, I'm hungry, give me food. And that's about the extent of it. And Slave Trader's like, yes, money!
I love money.
Yeah! Oh, and it's like, hey, I'm up front. I do everything for money. I don't care. And he's, like you said, he's like, hey, all the work you've been doing, that's been bringing business my way, and I love it.
He's actually nicer to the Shield Hero because of all the business he's been getting. He's like, I usually do everything I can for money, but since you've been the cause of my business booming, I'm giving you free favors.
Yep. I love it. It's like he tells, now this cracked me up so hard. He's like, okay, I can't give you class upgrades, because that's why they go there, to see if he can do class upgrades. Because he said he saw a slave there that was above the level cap. He's like, I can't do class upgrades, but you specifically, you're not going to find anyone here who's going to do it for you. So here's these other nations. There's such and such, and blah blah blah, and Shield Freeden.
Yeah.
Shield Freedom is like, really? Shield Freedom? Really?
This is definitely the place where the Shield Hero has to go.
But it will take, like, what do you say, like...
Take him like a month to get there by
2 weeks by boat.
Wagon.
Yeah, 2 weeks by boat, 1 month by wagon. And there's 10 days until the next wave, right?
Yeah.
Waves. And he's like, shit. Okay, what do I do? What do I do? He's like, well... Slave Trader's like, well, tell you what. If you can't get a class upgrade, how about I give you some weapons for Philo to make up for that? And Philo's like, ooh, weapon! I get my own weapon? Yes! And he gives him like these wyvern talons, he calls them. I love when Nafumi dodges the question. She goes, Nafumi-sama, what's a wyvern? Because remember, Philos, or whatever the names are, hate dragons. He just, anyway, Slave Trader.
So yeah, he buys some claws for Philo, and they're chicken claws, okay?
Yep.
For her talons. And they give her a really good attack boost because now she's cleaving things in half.
They actually did a job for Slave Trader, which is like kill something in the sewers. And she just, with it one swipe, like rips its face off. It's like, whoa!
Now my question here is, since she can transform into a little girl, if she's wearing the claws, does she have Wolverine claws when she's a little girl?
In her feet?
No, just through some, magic, she gets them on her hands now.
I don't want to imagine tiny Wolverine. Or maybe probably more tiny X-23 more than anything.
You never watched Wolverine, or what was that movie called? Logan?
Oh, was that the second Wolverine movie? Where he fought Silver Samurai?
No.
Oh, was that the Old Man Logan movie?
Yeah.
No, I did not see that one. No.
You need to watch it. It's really good.
I know, but it still stars Wolverine, and I don't like Wolverine.
It's really good. Go watch it.
Okay. I'm completely off topic. I'm not a fan of the character Wolverine. I don't get his appeal, whatever. So moving on. So they got the claws. What happens after that?
They go test them out.
Yeah, that's when they go to get food.
Yeah, they go to get food.
And this is the best scene. Oh my god, love this scene so much. And there he meets...
This is one of the best references ever.
The reference is also awesome. I mean, the whole scene in general I love. That he meets with Sword Hero and Bow Hero. They've been out, and they're complaining to each other. Man, someone keeps stealing our jobs. So, what the fuck? Every time I go to turn in a quest I get from Guild, and I go back, the quest has been taken down by the time I get there. What the fuck?
Someone's impersonating us. Why would they do this?
And so, while they're talking, one of Bow Hero's party members comes up and is like, hey, Bow Hero-sama, we got this request from the Guild. This turns out this the evil despot is taxing his people to death. And he says the line, seems we need to go teach somebody that with great power comes great responsibility. To which the Shield Hero spits out his...
He just spit it out.
So he spit takes all over Philo. It's fucking hilarious.
We know which universe Naofumi comes from.
And then Bow Hero comes like, something funny, Shield Hero? And he goes, no, nothing funny. I just didn't realize you were bitten by a radioactive spider. Which is like, yay! I love it! But, but obviously, if they don't have Spider-Man in Bo Hero's universe, he goes, wait, what?
Yeah, he's like, what?
Like, don't worry about it. And he's like, so it was you impersonating us, was he? He's like, why did you jump to that? He's like, I've been impersonating you. I've been cleaning up your messes. He's like, what are you talking about? We haven't left any messes. We've been doing good. We've been doing hero stuff.
He's like, look at me. I'm very heroic.
He's like, oh, let me guess. You were the one who because earlier he helped some poor villagers out that were like refugees. You have some refugees out who were like who ousted from a village from after a civil war or something like that.
Well, the same thing had happened from what the new quest that his minion was giving him.
He's like,
is that he had already ousted somebody who was taxing the people to death.
Yep. Which what turned out, after he left to go collect his reward, just the rebellion was swept right into the seat of power. The power vacuum was filled by the rebels, and they taxed the shit out of the civilians even worse than the guy who was in the seat to begin with. So they were so poor they had to leave and were dying of starvation. And he points it out to his Bo Hero. He goes, "Oh shit!" And then he's like, "Well, how do you?" And Sword Hero goes, "Well, how do you explain my situation, huh? What?" He's like, "Oh, let me guess. You went to deal with the dragon, right?" He's like, "Oh, see, you don't deny it. You knew what I was talking about." He's like, "Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Because that carcass you left, it poisoned all the people because you left it behind, dumbass." And Sword Hero's like, "Oh shit." He's like, "You both left messages about you. You're both haven't been beaten heroes. You've been doing worse than the situations that were there to begin with. You've been doing, you've been actually, for lack of a better word, been doing more evil than the evil that was already there."
Yeah, their actions did bring harm to the people they were supposedly helping.
Because it turns out they didn't care. They were there just for the guild, for the reward monies.
Yeah, they hadn't thought their actions through.
Nope.
And, at least they could be reasoned with, though, and they saw the error of their ways. Because
Sword Hero, at first, he was like, no way that's true. And then he looks over at Raftali and sees the cursed, damage on her arm. He's like, oh shit, it's true. And Bo Hero's like, I still don't believe you. And Sword Hero's like, I think Sword Hero's the first one to come around to his side. He goes, why would he lie? Obviously he's telling the truth.
This guy is giving us factual information.
So, after he gave the Sword and Bow Hero the greatest telling off, I love that scene so hard. That was such a great scene. He goes back to collect his new armor, which he complains more. He's like, "Armorsmith guy, stop making me look like a fucking bandit leader."
He's like, "You're really overdoing this, man."
Because he took remember the zombie dragon core that he got? He put it in his armor so that his armor has an auto regen function.
Very cool function.
Mm-hmm. And the guards who want to join, the little militia that wants to join up with Shirogero comes back and goes, "We got it! We got the 150 silver! So now we can join you, right?" And he goes, walks over, hands with the pendant, and then pushes the money back at him. He goes, "Alright, use that money to buy yourself some decent gear, for God's sakes, and then we'll have ourselves a strategy meeting." And he starts walking into the armorsmith's shop. He goes, "Stop using my fucking shop as your..."
Like, "You can't use this as your headquarters. This is my shop."
But that doesn't stop him either. So, basically, it's like less than 24 hours to the next wave, and we have a first look at a new villain. I don't know if you'll get this reference or not, but she looks like Yotsuyu from Final Fantasy XIV, for anyone who gets that reference. But,
I don't.
Look it up sometime then. She looks... The character they showed looked very similar to me. So, the way... It looks like right before the credits start, the wave has begun. So, next episode... It's called, what was it, Catastrophe Returns or something like that?
Well, we also do get a small part about the Queen.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
For some reason, she's detained in this place that has some interesting architecture.
Yeah.
And a bunch of musketeers are around.
It's so weird. Like, she's, I'm assuming, in prison?
I don't know why she's there.
Because, like, every corridor has, like, 13, 14 guards armed with guns, apparently ready to shoot her if she leaves. I don't know, because
But they're helpless to stop the ninjas that come around.
Because the reason Melty's trying to, act on her behalf, act on her mother's behalf, is apparently she says, I can't leave. And she looks around and it shows all the guards with guns, insinuating she literally can't leave. Now, not because she's physically unable, but because she'll get shot if she tries.
Yeah, and she had sent Melty to admonish the king for being a dick.
Yes.
So, I wonder if Melty even has more authority than the king right now.
I don't know, because when Melty left, she met there was guards waiting for her outside that went, the king demands your demands your presence. So obviously he must still have more power over her.
I'm not sure. Obviously the queen's the most powerful and can do whatever she wants, and Melty's next in line.
Yeah.
And
it makes me wonder, is she even in Melremark? Where is the queen? Because it's obviously not there. Because it's like this.
She's got to be somewhere else, because they did introduce all this other world building in this episode of all these other countries,
and that's one of the reasons why I love this episode
Shield
too.
Freedom,
Shield Freedom. It was
it's Freedom, but
it's like, what the fuck, really?
I want to go with Shield Freedom.
I want to go live there because apparently it's populated with mostly demi-humans, but they said it was like super friendly to. No, it was a demi-human city. But it's like the most friendly to humans, or something to that effect. Sounds awesome. I'm gonna go check it out.
Yeah, I do want to see these other places, but we're getting the next wave in the next episode or something.
Yes. I want to see the class upgrade. Oh, and there was the part where, I'm sorry, I totally blanked on it. Like, now Fumi just, because he's now sort of noticed, as dense as he is, he's now sort of noticed that Raphtalia has been kind of making romantic advances towards him.
She wants herself some Naofumi.
She do. He basically outright tells her, he's like, look, when this is over, I'm going home. Because like she asks her, what do you want as a class upgrade? And she goes, oh, whatever you want to give me, Naofumi. He's like, no, stop it with that. You need to be able to make your own life decisions when I'm gone, because when these waves are over, I'm out. I'm going home.
He's gonna pull a Cartman as soon as this is done.
Screw you guys! I'm going home. And he notices because like Philo calls her out, because she's like, when he's like dressing her wounds, he goes, now Fumi, when you go back to your world, can I come with you? And Philo's like, aha! You're trying to make kissy faces with Naofumi. You're trying to be all romantic with him. It's like, no, I wasn't. Like, I saw you. You were doing it. So
they just do the whole, childish back and forth. Nuh-uh, not me. It's you.
So I think even emo dense Naofumi had to notice then at that point.
He's like, shut up. God, I don't want to deal with this.
So we're gonna see where that goes. I fear so bad that they're gonna go with the cliche on this one. But we'll see what happens. Other than that, fantastic episode. I really love this episode.
Maybe that's why it got to number 1.
Yeah, maybe. Or it's because Promised Neverland just wasn't that good this week. The only thing I didn't like about it, and it isn't even a fault of the show, it's just me personally, I just felt really bad for Melty.
Well, I feel bad for her, but it's understandable.
It is.
The only part of this episode I didn't like is when they went down to the sewers to test their weapons.
Yeah. That was kind of weak. Because they fought something that was like... They fucking manhandled it. It wasn't even a problem.
Like, they could have just edited that scene out and nothing would have been lost. That's all I have to say about this episode.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I can't think of anything else I really have to criticize about it. Just... The Spider-Man reference was fucking priceless.
Yeah.
And, I just love it. They actually... that was one of the greatest fourth wall breaks. I love it. They actually called out Spider-Man. I fucking loved it. Oh. Anyway, so guys, that was anime week. That was the week this week. That was where we stood. And with that, we're going to go ahead and end this episode here. Another week down. 2 to go. Maybe 3. And we'll be done with winter. Can't believe it's almost over already. Some of these animes don't feel like they're coming to a conclusion.
Yeah, like Dororo and the Shield Hero.
And Neverland.
We've got confirmation that those are going in the next season anyway.
Yeah, that's true. Other than that, it was again one of those weeks. It's just so uneven. Where it's just like, how did that fall so far, and how is this so high up on the list, and why is this one still sucking so hard?
We'll be here next week saying at number 5, Magical Girl Spec Ops Asuka.
I mean, something would have to suck really hard to fall below Asuka. I mean, they would have to do something really awful.
Yeah, next week. Number 5, Angels of Death.
Like, I can't imagine, like, right now, like, number 5, Dororo. It's like, nah. No.
I can't see anything other than Asuka being at the number 5 slot.
I mean, we prefaced this the very first week that it was the popcorn anime. It wasn't really there for its quality. It was there because it was...
I was still enjoying it, for the whole popcorn thing.
Yeah.
It's like one of those old NES games that you just pop into play for like 10 minutes, like, I don't know, Gunsmoke or Castlevania.
Okay, yeah, I'll give you that. Tetris. Mario. Star Tropics.
Yeah, Mario. I've never played Star Tropics.
Oh. Earthbound.
If I could afford a copy.
Final Fantasy.
Let's just stick to the NES.
That was on the NES.
It wasn't a 10-minute game, though.
He finally got it! I was going for longer and longer games with each entry I was saying. Finally, he gets it!
Dragon Quest.
I can't think of anything longer. Something long, like...
Battletoads, because you play it for 10 minutes and then you just rage quit.
Hey, I will tell you, out of the 100 times I played that game, I got past the speeders twice. Twice I got past the speeder bike section. Mm-hmm. But anyway, guys, we're going to end this episode here. If you enjoyed it, let us know. I mean, we would love to hear your feedback. If you enjoyed the episodes the way we did, let us know. If you had different opinions, let us know. Hey, if there's other anime out there we're not watching you want to let us know about or other people know about, comments below. For now, however, if you enjoyed this episode, specifically, let us know with a like, comment, subscribe, share it, or you can click on the annotations for other videos we've done. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you all next time.